everybody, Mike Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. I got a lot to show you tonight. So we're going to do another video, and it'll be video 42, and it's going to be a short one, but you're going to like it, so please stay tuned and watch to the end. Okay, everybody, I'm going to do a couple of videos here, I think, of what I'm got done today, just because it really looks like I got a lot done, even though I in actuality have not. But I'm going to spin the camera around here. This Ridley Hotel over here, I do not have the light wire down through. It's the only one I don't have yet. I leveled up that building over there, but I do not have a sidewalk in front of it, and as you can see, I have put some green behind, and of course I realized that I forgot to paint that little section of plaster there. But anyway, as you can see here, I have these buildings sitting in place, and I had put some signs. Someone had suggested putting advertising on the backs, and I thought that was a good idea, and I just happened to have some. So there they are. I glued these buildings back here to the backdrop, okay, with hot glue, and I put some trees in there to kind of act as a view block when you are looking back there. And I really think that that 3D effect looks really good. And these buildings that are all in place here, several of them have lights, and I have run the lights down. And we're going to just swing over here, and you can see that I leveled up the bowling alley and moved it to the right some. And I don't know if it's coming out in camera that the bowling light is working. I have not put in any street lights yet, and as you can see, part of my train's laying over, but I did find those buildings in my box, and I think I'm going to use them there in some capacity. And then those buildings behind, and then a road down through the center there. And I built this, I leveled off this section. Leveled off this section too. I guess maybe I should tell you that. There'll be a slope down to that building, and as the road will slope down, this will all be a downward slope right in here. Anyway, these buildings are all level. That over there is relatively level, and that will be able to be removed. So I am going to put plaster cloth over that and somehow be able to lift it out of there if need be. I am also considering or contemplating putting houses and the trailer park up there on that. And of course, to do that, I had to move all the locomotives and trains and everything out of the way to get to the track back there. I don't think there's anything else new out here, with the exception of that working. And hold on one second, we'll turn off some lights. Now with the lights off, you can see the bowling alley light working. And if we come down here, you can see some lights in some of the structures. I also put a red light on the back side of these right here, so that it looks like there's neon on the other side that's operational. And then when I put 2 or 3 street lights down through there, I think that'll balance it all right off. There will be some fencing along the road right there over to the hotel, and then there will be foliage on this right here. And speaking of foliage, let's see what I'm doing. Okay, kids, what do you think of that foliage? I'm just kidding, there's no foliage there. But I have started putting foliage on the mountain here. I'm using a new, to me, new technique for applying this. And of course, once I get done with this, I've got to vacuum off the excess and see how it looks. But so far, I am liking this. And then once we start putting trees on there, it will even take more shape. And then the as I did on the old forest, I go in there and I put some poly fiber on there, and kind of stretch it around and clump it up and do all kinds of stuff, and then put some foliage on top of that as well. And it really creates a nice effect. As you can see, I have gone, in the last few minutes, I have gone from there over to there and down to here and around to there. I don't think it took me 20 minutes using the new method that I am using. And it doesn't put too much foliage color down, which is the way I want it, because I like the dirt color underneath to show through the different shades and so forth. But the method I'm using more or less prevents me from getting the foliage all over the rocks, because I used to just spray it down with water and then put the foliage on, then try and clean the rocks off, and then try and use an eyedropper to drop the adhesive on there. I'm going to do a little section on the opposite side from here with the camera, because everybody says, oh, you just show it, you know, after you get it done, and we don't know how it's done. So we're going to see how it's done. So I'm going to set up the camera on the other side, and we're going to zip through a little section over there. I'm going to try and finish, before I go over there, I'm going to finish this little section that you see here. And then I'm going to go to the other side, and we're going to finish that same little quadrant on the other side. And let me show you how what I'm doing as far as mixing. Okay, I'm not actually mixing any glue. I'm using the Scenic Cement S191. I'm using it straight out of the container. What I can tell you about the container is turn it upside down and shake the poop out of it until there is no glue stuck to the bottom of the bottle, because it tends to separate in there and you'll get a lot of glue stuck to the bottom, and your mixture will not be the same bottle to bottle, and you will get clumps. So be sure and shake the heck out of the bottle. I had just a little bit in, I had about that much in another bottle that's empty over here. And I just got this new bottle, and I have only used about from there to do what I just got done showing you, the second part that I just showed you. What I do is I dump that glue into a container like so, and this is what I brush out of. This this mixture right here is 50-50 earth blend and, hold on one second, and green blend. Oh, I can't get it on the camera right here. Green blend. And I mix it approximately, this color up here is 50-50. This color is about 60-40, earth blend 60, green 40, because I'm going to try and change the color of the ground cover as I go back. If it looks a little bit too light, I'll come back and put some green in it. And I plan on putting some more other colors of green in there, by the way, in specific spots. This is just, as the paint is, a base color that we're going to start with, okay? But anyway, as I said, this blend that you see here is 50-50 earth and that green blend. Okay, so I get an empty container, I just fill it up, and it's approximate. I just fill it up with the green to a certain point, and then I fill it up with the earth blend, the same amount. Shake the poop out of this and apply it. Now I'm gonna show you how I apply it. Okay, here is my glue mix, and you can see that I've done the other side. I believe you can see that I've done the other side of the hill over here. what I started doing was putting the glue at the bottom and working my way up, but I found that it really works a little better starting from the top down because the glue wants to go downhill. Okay. What I try to do is keep the glue off of the road so that I don't have to clean that foliage off of there whenever I go to put the road material on. So I try and keep that off of there as best I can. But I think what we're going to do is start right in here, and you'll notice probably what I'll do is put some lightly right down in here by the road, and then start up here at the top and kind of work my way down and let it come down. What I don't want to do is overflow this right in here and have it come out on the road. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're taking this, put some in this puddle up here and just over the hill. Then we're going to work, just wet this down along the road all the way down to about there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put some foliage on that. And I just use the holes in the big bottle and shake it out. And we're going to put on about that much. And you're seeing that I'm getting some big clumps there. I don't know exactly what's happening. I think some of that green had a little moisture in it. Anyway, then we're going to start right here at the peak. And we're going to start adding, and we're going to glue, and we're going to run it over the edge on the other side, on the other downhill side. And you can see that the glue is wanting to run down the hill. And we're just going to let it do that and soak into the wet that we've already got there, okay? So I don't know if we had any glue in this section, so we're just going to put some in there anyway. And it doesn't matter whether that foliage goes back into the glue or not, because this is the color you're using anyway. And we're going to go right down the top of this hill here. So now you can see that we have all of this strip wet, and we're going to apply foliage again. And you can apply it as thick or as thin as you want. If you wanted it thin, you could shake this a little finer. But since that's kind of a flat, plain type area up there, you can see that it's taking the color a lot heavier than it normally would on a hillside. And we're going to demonstrate that right down here, because we're going to go right around this hill right here. And I'm going to start right here along the road. And we're going to try not to get it on the road, but it's going to be almost impossible down here because of the angle. But we're going to put some here on the top. And excuse me, hey Google, pause. That thing seems to have a mind of its own. And you can see that we are going to get some on the road, but I'm going to try and take it down the hill as much as I can. And I'm going to try not to get any glue on my structure. And we're going to do this hillside here. And I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off there with my finger, just so there's not quite so much glue and maybe it won't tend to stick so badly. And we're going to do the same thing all over again. And you can see that it sticks right wherever we're applying the glue with the brush. And some places we don't necessarily want it, but we're trying to prevent it from doing that. And I'm just going to start now by putting some along the hilltop here, trying to avoid these what are supposed to be rock faces. And we're going to go down along the bottom here. And I'm going to put a little more glue around the where the mine shaft goes in, because we're eventually going to put some foliage, thicker foliage around that, okay? And there's going to be places that it's not going to get to and it's not going to stick. And that's just as well, because those sections are probably cut in and they wouldn't normally have a bunch of grass growing on them in the first place. Now all we have to do is this little bitty section here to complete the area that we were talking about completing. I also can see a couple of naked spots up here at the top. I don't know if you guys can see them in the camera, but we're going to touch those. One there, a little bit there, and a little bit right in here that I can see. And we're just going to splash a little on there, or a lot, depending on how much comes out. I know that there's a lot of guys out there who freak out because they're going to go, well, how do you get all that up? You know, you're going to waste all that material when you throw that on there, and then you go use a vacuum and you pick it up. My opinion, and of course, everybody probably assumes I'm made of money, but I don't worry about it. As far as I'm concerned, these are all consumables, and they're just part of building the layout, in my opinion. So if I vacuum the excess of this up in a vacuum and I don't strain it out and reuse it, it doesn't bother me. May bother a lot of people, but it doesn't bother me. Now, if you wanted to get some of this inside of there, I would recommend doing this and blowing into a straw and blowing it up against the side there. I didn't use a straw, but I did do that down on the lower portion I showed you down there where the lower track is. I think that that's probably more than enough on there for right now. I'm going to put a little more glue down here. In fact, I'm going to use my finger and spread some of this out down in here. This would be a normal place where, I don't know, I guess you guys can see that. There's a little triangle here at the bottom, and it would be a place where this stuff where the foliage would collect because the water would collect. So we're going to add a little, well, glue here, and I just have just a tiny bit of, I just need to put a tiny bit of foliage right on there. So, everybody wanted to know how to do it, and there it is. The only thing I can do is wait till tomorrow after it's dry, and I probably will just do that on the next video because I'm really excited to get this video out and just let everybody see how different this looks. So it'll probably just be a really short video tonight, and somebody had pointed out, and let me move the camera slightly, okay? If I can. Somebody pointed out, and I'll get his name if I decide to do it, that I should put a tunnel portal right about here. And I should put a tunnel portal right about back here. And just put a little short tunnel in there to differentiate, with a hill here, to differentiate the Indian ruin from this section over here. And even though the scenery will be continuous, I think that's a pretty good idea, and Robin thinks it's a good idea, but I just get tired of looking at tunnel portals here. But I think having it there would probably be a good thing. And the person that suggested it was concerned about the switching in and out of here, and I really don't think that it won't affect the switching because the tunnel's only going to be the length of a couple locomotives probably. So you'll be able to see what's going on, and if we have something in there, we can certainly get it out of there. The other thing I'm concerned about is those tracks over there are kind of far apart, so I may have to modify a portal and make it wide enough to fit that, or put two individual portals over there. But I'll figure it out if I decide to do that. Okay, gang. This is what I got done. And I've been out here after we ate, I've been out here about an hour. And you saw me finish. Ooh, let me get out of here. You saw me finish over there. And I decided to just work my way on down. I came all the way down. And there's a lot of excess foliage or ground cover there that'll be vacuumed off, but we'll see how it turns out. If I gotta go touch up any spaces, we can do that. But if I just go on around here, in about an hour and a half or 2 hours of work, this is what I got done tonight. Pretty impressive, I think. Shoot, I should just be able to work my way on around there and keep on zooming tomorrow if I have time. But I think that's all we're going to do for today. Well, okay, everybody, that's 42, and I hope you enjoyed it tonight. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed doing this kind of work. The mountains and trying to reach back to the backdrop, not so much, and I will really enjoy it when I start putting trees and more foliage on there to make it look like the backdrop over there. But anyway, glad you guys stuck around, and as usual, thanks for watching.